Welcome, race fans, to race number 8 of the Belly Up Cup Sports Series here for the race number 8 Pit Pass NASCAR 120 here at Brands Hatch Circuit, the Indy Circuit. A little kidney bean that wishes it was a road course. Joining me today, our producer from here in England, that's Dave Huckleberry. Joining him is myself, Gerald Campbell. No co-announcer here tonight. One of our co-announcers there, David Westergreen, gonna be off for tonight. And of course, I'm gonna do my best, folks. I've got a little bit of a cold myself, and it's a little rough for us. It's a little rough for some of these drivers.
We'll do our
on
best
track right now. We're gonna do our best. As for the time being, my voice is still here. The cars are still on track. It's gonna be 100 laps here at this track. A lot of these guys are definitely going to be struggling on track. And right now, this is the points as they stand. Matthew Weeks leading the points after having one of the best seasons we've seen to date a driver have here in the Cup Series for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Right in front of Tyler Fota, Ethan Burrell, Tate Lytle. Those points are going to be even more important as we get closer to the cutoff race, to that chase, the ever important end of the regular season, when we condensed all these drivers down to 14 of them. So we're going to keep an eye out as those points. They have a tough one here today, folks, as they're going to be trying to take on this road course. Our rookie standings as it stands right now, Ty McIntosh is leading the rookie standings, not by much over Justin Wadsworth. 1 point for Justin Wadsworth. That's how far back he is. Had a rough go of it last week. He's going to try to see if he can bounce back here, which I don't think he's into the lobby, so I don't think that's going to help him.
Nope.
So I don't think Wadsworth is going to have much of a chance to be able to get back at.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to have 0 points tonight.
Probably. McIntosh seems to not be in as well.
No, he's here.
Oh, is he?
Yep, I saw him on the list.
Yes, there he is. Yes, number 35. There he is. He is in the lobby, so looks to extend his points. Key driver to keep an eye on tonight is going to be that William White. The only driver tonight that can say they're at a home track is going to be that English driver, William White, sporting his Union flag. There he is on track. Chad decided to make it a little bit more interesting for all these drivers here. Why not make it an open qualifying lobby? So all these drivers are having to qualify all on track together. And to give you a feeling, we only have 34 cars tonight, but from what everyone says, those 34 cars on a short road course like this feels like 90. So they needlessly to say, they're going to be dealing with traffic.
There, I can show you how they spread
lap
out.
4 on. Yeah, let's do it. There
Here's
you go.
the track map.
Little track map to give you an idea. I think that'd be an interesting thing to keep up at all times if we can tonight, Dave.
Sure.
If you don't mind. Because I have a feeling our qualifying pole sitter will probably be having to deal with lap traffic, probably from lap 4 until the end of the race. He's going to have to start passing lap traffic. From my calculations, the back of the pack, even without incident, will be somewhere around 4 laps down based off the times. So that's if they have no problems. And drivers were definitely feeling like there's going to be some problems here tonight. So interesting. You know, some people feel like when we get to a road course with no cautions, it can lead to maybe stagnant races where there's not a lot going on. Well, we're not going to have that here tonight. Needless to say, we're not going to have that at any point in tonight. There's going to be passing going on all through this small little track. It is only a 1.2 mile racetrack. So smaller than just about any road course you can imagine on the iRacing server. So it's going to be interesting. Qualifying has just wrapped up. We're going to go through the field here in just a second and see where these guys were able to qualify on time.
Waiting for him to grid here.
And here in just a second, we'll find
Yeah,
out. There we go. Our qualifying pole sitter is going to be no surprise. Ethan Stanley able to get the pole here for Lake Norman. David Tooker, another really good road course driver, said he was going to be putting in the laps whenever he was on the gauntlet on Thursday. Coming in tonight with some practice time. Going to be starting in second. Ryan Gavel starting in third. Tate Lytle fourth. Chase Cabry coming in for his second ever race in the Elite Series, Elite Cup Series, starting in fifth. Alex McCollum going to be starting in the sixth position. Ethan Burrell seventh. Nick Endelicato eighth. Chad Frankenfield ninth. Scott Crump 10th. Gavin Hibbs 11th. The home field boy, William White, going to be starting in the 12th position.
Want me to take the next 12? Save you a little bit?
Yeah.
13th, Seth Rawls. 14th, Johnny Thomas. 15th is Ryan Scholl. 16th, Justin Fortner. 17th, Jonathan Cutlip. 18th, Corey Abbott. 19th, Jordan Owens. 20, points leader Matthew Weeks. 21st, Ty McIntosh. 22nd, Leighton Norgard. 23rd, Jesse Racimus. 24th, Andrew Rucker, or also Sunny D is what they'll probably call him all night.
And 25th is going to be Josh Robbins. Dustin Dewar, 26th. Vincent Isabella, 27th. Michael Hossack in 28th. Michael Goodman, 29th. Mark Rebellis, 30th. Kyle Hanshaw, 31st. Mark Murphy is going to be
race control.
No, he's race control, so not meant to be there. Trey Holmes going to be starting in the 33rd position, and starting in the back is going to be Casey Hatch in 34th. And you're wondering, well, at least the guy in the back doesn't have to worry about looking in his rear view mirrors. Like I said, from lap 4 onwards, I think that's where most of his attention is going to be. Is going to be in the rear view mirrors, because there's going to be some fast cars trying to work through their field. I honestly think that the winner tonight is going to be the driver that is able to work through lap traffic here. So buckle up, folks. The pace car is off on pit road here. Going to get going green next time by. We're going to see an interesting, if not chaotic, race here for the Pit Pass 120 here at Brands Hatch Circuit Indy. We appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. As I stated, I apologize if my voice gets a little squeaky. It's going to be due to excitement. It's going to be due to being a little bit sick, but it's not going to be due to lack of action. We're going to have plenty of that here. Pace car lights are off, and already they're about to be coming back around to be able to take the green flag. 46 seconds is what it takes to get around this racetrack. In a blink of an eye, these guys are going to be back around completing this first lap. And the pace car is going to be taking them down pit road, leaving it over to Ethan Stanley, where the racing gets good and the good get racing. We're going to go to a road course, or is it a short track? We're about to find out. Green flag is out. Ethan Stanley on the loud pedal. Watch out for turn number 1. We're going to see how much sand is kicked up as they get through turn 1 here. So far, so good. Doesn't look like anyone's gotten into the sand. They said the first couple laps with these tires were going to be iffy. Very swirly. They had no grip in the first couple laps. Everyone was worried about it. Let's see how they're able to do. First couple turns here. So far, so good for these drivers. Oh, we already got a driver off. It looks like Corey Abbott there in the Kachow car. Race is not over for him, because he's gonna in the back. He's got to get going because the leaders are already back at the start finish line, and I'm hearing more contact being made across the track. Ethan Stanley seems to have gotten himself to a couple car lengths late. Oh no, our third place driver there, Ryan Gavel, got kicked into the sand, spun it around, kept it off the fence, but he's going to lose all that track time. He's going to have a hard time trying to be able to make it up through the field here. He's all the way back in the 30th position now. We're going to have to keep a bird's eye view here. We got the track map up for everyone that's interested. Keep an eye on that, because quickly that's going to be a completed circle here when they come back around. Already on lap number 3, the front 2 drivers have already gotten away to a little bit of a lead here.
Go back and see how it happened to.
See exact. I'm pretty sure he got his left rear tire into that sand, and that's all it took for that car to go around. Not even. Just came around on him. Needless to say, he's going to have an interesting race from here on out, trying to get through the field.
Now we'll try to look for some close battle.
That's the 26 there. It's Justin Fortner trying to work his way up through the field. So far, everyone's being very courteous, giving each other plenty of space. I think they're realizing it's 100 laps here. And the only way they're going to be able to make it through this race is if they work together. Oh, here comes a 16. Oh boy, he almost got into the 91 there of Johnny Thomas. Oh, car around the 95. Tips. I think it was the same situation as what happened to Gavin there. Turn 1 was a danger corner. Easy to loop it around. So far, still looking pretty good out there for most of these drivers. When it gets a little bit complicated, we're only lap 5, so we're not even a little bit through this field. But right now, our front 2 drivers seem to be pulling away to quite a bit of a lead here. David Tooker's keeping Ethan Stanley honest right now, right to his back bumper. Fuel is somewhere around lap 60. Some of the drivers felt like they should be able to extend it out a little bit farther than that if they tried. Halfway point will be awarded at lap 50. Some of these drivers were saying there's no tire wear. So a lot of them were planning on not taking tires and just looking at fueling up the car. Essentially completing a pit stop will put you a lap down from any position. Not many road courses you can say that. See Tate Lytle starting to work up onto the back of Scott Crump here. Our English driver there, William White, worked his way into the top 10 already at this point. Let's go ahead and see if we can go on board here with Ethan Stanley for a lap, so for folks at home can get a sense. Here he comes, going down the top straight. On the start of the lap here at the line, he's going to end up going into the paddock hill bend is what it's called. Very sweeping downhill turn down into this low part as he reaches into Pilgrim Rise. Very hard right-hand turn. Keeps it right up against the curb as here he comes to the bottom bend. On this turn here, you're going to want to get all the curbs you can. As it gets to the bottom straight, gets up onto those curbs, gets down into that straight part. Gonna get onto more curves as it gets into the kidney bend. And then it's gonna be the long right-hand turn here at Clearways. This long right-hand turn seems like it takes forever. You don't want to end up in that grass. You'll end up in that wall before you know it. Back down to the top straight here, and that is a lap as quickly as it started. That's what these drivers have to deal with for 100 times of, if they're lucky, if they stay on the lead lap. Ethan Stanley's a good way to be able to stay on board because that's a driver that knows what he's doing. Multiple winner here in the Elite Series on the road courses, but they can already see in their mirror or their window, front windshield, whatever you want to call it, they can start seeing the lap traffic in front of them. Took the lap 8, so I feel proud of these drivers able to stay on the lead lap until this point. First driver they're going to be coming up on is going to be Kyle Hanshaw. Already 3 drivers out of the race, either due to contact or admitting defeat. First driver going to be going a lap down. It's going to be Kyle Hanshaw here. He's going to be caught pretty quickly. Further battles going on. It looks like Tate Lytle was able to get around Scott Crump this lap. That will put him into that 8th position. Now William White's going to be trying to see if he can get around that number 90 car. Ooh, a couple cars going off. 24 off into the sand. That's going to be Michael Hossack. I think he just got back on. That was a wild ride. This is something very easy for these drivers to do. You go a little bit too wide, you get into that sand, and then you just go for a ride. You have to believe at the end of this race, this was real life. You get out of the car, take your shoes off, like you're at the beach, and take the sand out of your shoes, because there's a lot of sand at this racetrack. Ooh, a couple cars getting loose around there. McIntosh, one of our top rookie, running right there in a good spot. Seems to find a comfort place in 19th, but he's already over a half a lap down to the leaders. Chase Caber trying to see if he can hold off a very hard charging McCollum. Both of these drivers making their relatively rookie start here. Oh, 10 car almost around Nick Indelicato right behind them. Got loose, allowed 2 cars to go around, got stuck behind a lap car there. Ended up losing a position. No, Tate Lytle got into the back of Chad Frankenfield. That is not what he wants to do, because Chad was not happy after Monday night race. So Chad voiced his displeasure. We'll see here if he gets back at Tate Lytle after Tate gave him a little bit of a bump and a shove. Oh, Chad throws it in there. Oh, he tried. He tried for sure to be able to make that move. He almost dumped him at that point. Chad's going to be able to collect it here, but he's got a host of cars behind him trying to make the position back up on him. Our leaders, if we go back up to the lead, are going through some heavy traffic here now. They're getting to these lap cars. Oh, boy. And you got to feel for these lap cars. There's nowhere to go. This track is not very wide in a lot of spots. The grooves are very narrow because you're not having a very long straightaways in a lot of spots to be able to get out of the way. So a lot of these drivers are going to have difficulties moving out of the way for the leaders. A lot of them believe that's going to lead to a lot of incidents. Ethan Stanley so far still got Tate Lytle right behind him, but look at the lead they put on Chase Cabre. Oh, Dustin Dewar in front of him. And the 32 coming back on track right in front of them. That's what they're going to have to worry about for the next 86 laps. If you're not going to be physically exhausted, you're going to sure be mentally exhausted. I'm wondering, Dave, if I should put on my voice mod and put it on deep voice to counteract my high squeaky voice right now. You think that might work?
It'll make it different. That's for sure.
It might make me go back to being in a normal voice with all my squeakiness. Ethan Stanley coming up on the 8th there. That's Josh Robin. Ooh, Robin got out into the dirt a little bit. Oh, boy. That was after lap 10 that some of these drivers went a lap down. So remember when I said that it should take 5, they should go 5 laps down?
Yep, they may go 10.
They may go 10. It might go 10 laps down. Some of those drivers wouldn't mind going 10 laps down. That'd be 10 laps less laps that they have to do. Man, these two guys up here are laying down absolute steamer laps right now. even with going through lap traffic, I mean, they are laying down some real fast lap times. I mean, the last time by, they both would have qualified in the top 5. So, I mean, they're going almost qualifying speeds right now, these two.
Oh, they have fewer cars in front of them now.
Yeah.
Thanks
they're
to the
not
qualifying.
worried about tire wear. Look how far back already 5th place is. 10 seconds back, Ethan Burrell. I mean, at that pace, we're only going to have 4 cars on the lead lap at the end of this. Oh boy, I don't know where to keep my eye on here, Dave.
Round goes Dusty.
Dusty Dewar going around. He's gonna have to try to find a good spot to come back on racetrack. Oh, don't get stuck on the curb. Oh man. I don't know what's scarier. If you got stuck going backwards on the intersection trying to find a way to do a turnaround, or what position Dustin Dewar was in. Both of them were near catastrophic for him. Already only 24 cars a lap, or on the lead lap. 10 cars already a lap down. Ethan Stanley starting to work on Scott Crump, or not Scott Crump. Rucker there. Sunny D car. Good to see the Sunny D car not facing the wrong direction or getting sent into turn 1. But it's still early on and we have hope. Just joking. Ethan Stanley out front still. They have gotten around Scott Crump. Oh, Scott Crump. They locked it up going in turn 1. I almost saw him send it in, bail it into the wall there. Oh, man. Let's go on board with a lap car here. Let's go on board with the 99 of Mark Verbiles. I want people to get an idea how awful it is to be a lap car here. As he just got passed by 7 cars in 1 lap. Actually, I think he's got quite a clear track behind him a little bit, so he might be okay for a lap. Can we see like a backwards view? Do we have a backwards view, Dave?
Sure.
We should have made one. If not, there we go. So here's a good one to catch up to him. It's Ryan Gavel trying to work his way up through the field, coming up with head of steam. Right behind Ryan Gavel there, there's Matthew Weeks, the points leader, not having the best of nights here tonight. Started in the 20th position, worked up to 16th. That's a good view of him coming down the bend there. I gotta say, Mark Verbiles, since we've been on board with him, has been running really good lap times.
He's kept it on track.
Yeah, he's looking rather good out there, actually. He's gonna probably wish we were on board for the rest of the race. But very quickly, he's seeing a group of cars starting to catch up. Random Max, you are very correct. It is going to be interesting here tonight. There's going to be nowhere to go for a lot of folks. That's an interesting view. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here with Scott Crump, as I think William White was finally able to get around him, able to push him up out of the track there. So William White able to get himself finally past Scott Crump for that 9th position. And it all happened with lap cars, if you can believe it. Woo, aggressive move by the Englishman. I'm at a loss of words where to keep my eyes on. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's hard to
camera.
hard to pull it up because I can't see any gaps that are low because they're passing lap cars. Doesn't keep track of that. Campbell doing a little lawn mowing back there.
Let me go to an overhead view of the entire track. Sorry, I'm making you work here today, Dave. There we go. Well, kind of. Most of the track is not what we're using. Oh, well. You see there, Jonathan Cutlip catching up to the back of Seth Rawls. That's just outside the top 10. You think, oh, man, they're having a good race. Well, they're over a half a lap down already to our leaders. Oh, by the way, it's only lap 22 of 100. This is I gotta say, David Tooker, he was on the Gauntlet for Thursday night's podcast, and he stated that he was going to put in some practice laps here. You know, he got tired of Ethan Stanley beating him at these road courses. He was the original road course ace, as everyone would say. He would win all the road courses. Then drivers like Ethan Stanley came aboard. R.C. Anderson, the real-life IndyCar, well, NASCAR driver now. I guess you could call him a NASCAR driver because he raced in NASCAR over at COTA last week. And David Tooker, he said he's going to put in the track this time. He's going to put all his effort into beating Ethan Stanley here. And right now, he has kept him very honest. They have been going near qualifying pace out on the track, and it's been less than half a second behind him this entire race. Oh, goody off in front of him. That's always interesting. You see here, I mean, there's not really a lot of passing opportunities. You have to wait for a mistake. And I'm going to guess a lot of those mistakes will probably be coming from trying to get around these lap traffic. Only 22 cars left on the lead lap right now. Third place has found himself 8 seconds behind. Fifth place, 12 or 13 seconds behind now. 10th place has found himself 20 seconds behind. So we are at least 1/4 of the way through at this point, and I gotta say these drivers have been doing a phenomenal job. I have not really seen a multi-car wreck so far, and you know, that's quite surprising with the amount of traffic that they're having to work through.
Yeah, you haven't heard anything in the driver chat, anybody complaining about contact or anything. A lot of just single slide-offs.
When's the last time we haven't heard an elite race where they're not complaining? Good battle here for the 13th position. Brian Gavel, who was third when he spun, trying to work his way through some of these drivers here. Now trying to get around the rookie points leader there, Ty McIntosh. Or no, Seth Rawls. Sorry, that's 25. That's
for position.
Ty McIntosh. That's Ty McIntosh's teammate, similar paint scheme. This is for position here. Lee Combe, Lee in the chat here, saying he lived about 10 miles from the track. Well, then you might know William White. He lives about 10 miles from the track.
Could be neighbors, never even knew it.
Then again, in England, 10 miles is a lot different than here in the United States. 10 miles is one side of England to the other, right? Making a guess.
In some places, yeah.
Still one of the better battles on track is right here. Ooh, this might be what Ryan Gavel needed. He's going to be able to take a look to the inside, not able to quite make the move. Oh, gets a little loose. He's pushing it right now. I gave him a shot there going into turn number 1. Letting him know that he is looking to try to make a move here.
Oh, Nolan's also for position now in the mix.
And Jordan Nolan's having a phenomenal race here at the road course. Uh-oh. I heard someone blow up. I heard somewhere on track, someone just absolutely blew their engine somewhere. Not sure who. I'm not sure who blew their engine on track. Alright. We've had plenty of drivers quit.
There's your marbles winner.
Yeah, Casey Hatch not gonna finish second to last, so I guess better than.
Marbles are back on track now.
Yeah.
Picking the bottom last row guys.
Yeah, Marbles back to picking the worst luck person. That's for Thursday night's podcast. What an amazing battle for the lead that we've had for this entire first stint of the race. Again, most of these drivers were believing around lap 60, somewhere around 60, that we would have green flag pit stops, but no one believed that they would be taking tire, just maybe fuel here. Do apologize, you having to listen to the squeaky voice of myself. Most everyone seems to be off for tonight and having to deal with personal issues.
See, I don't see Chris Wright's name on the list. Chris must not be on track, and he's made a comment there in the YouTube chat. So, Chris, you're always welcome to come join us if you'd like.
Absolutely. Oh, William White almost off in the dirt. That was scary. Yeah, there's a good battle here between Chad Frankenfield, Nick Indelicato, and William White getting around Mark Rebellis there. All doing a really good job being able to make it through there, battling hard. This is a battle for the 7th position between all of them. I know who Lee's going to be rooting for. That's going to be the Union flag bearer there, William White. He's got a ways to go, though, if he wants to battle for this win to take over the win for his home country. This is the closest battle for position other than our leaders. I believe our leaders are going to be coming up on a group of 4 that they're going to be having to lap here in the next lap or 2. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well as they get closer to that battle.
Battle here again with Ryan Gable and Seth Rawls.
Yeah, Ryan Gable still trying to find a way around that number 25 car. The bumper's not working. They have caught up to the back of the 5 there of Jonathan Cutlip. So they're still working their way around, but as we stated, there's not really a lot of passing lanes. Really only turn 2 is about the only passing lane I know of on this track. And you'd have to dive it in pretty deep to be able to make it work. It's not a lot of setup here. Other than that very useful bumper. Oh, the 25 got a little loose there. Might be what he needed. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with our leaders here. If they have I believe started catching up to the back of the field. And they've caught to the back of each other. Oh, car around in the back. I think that's an 8. He's already multiple laps down. having a good night, but David took her right on that back bumper. The inside, David Tooker's going to be able to get the lead here. Gets around Ethan Stanley, our first takeover of the lead. He got her around turn number 5 right at the start-finish line. What a move by David Tooker to be able to make that happen. I think he got underneath him, got him a little wide. Ethan Stanley a little wide and able to make it work. Wow. Gave a little bump for a good measure. Said, "Excuse me, I'm coming through." Ethan Stanley's going to have to see if he can find a way back around that number 19. All it took was one bobble for the 19 for Ethan Stanley to make it happen. Now it's right to the back bumper.
You're free to make contact this time if he needs to. He's got one coming.
I don't know if I would call that a necessary contact that would lead to other contact. That's kind of...
You can lean on him a little if you want to.
You can lean on somebody. It's Chad Frankfield. I don't think you have to have an excuse. Oh, Tooker took it a little wide. That's what Ethan Stanley needed. Not going to make it work, though, but one mess-up is going to be all Ethan Stanley needs to be able to get back in front. Here they come up on a lot of lap cars. That might be what it's needed. Amazing battle for the lead here. Lap 36, and we're having two leaders duke it out at the front of the field here. Their times have dropped off quite dramatically from what they were doing in the beginning. Going on, Mark Robilis once again. Ooh, boy. Even had to make evasive maneuvers.
Oh, he's inside.
Threw it in. David Tooker back underneath. Gonna look for a cutback. Side by side, Ethan Stanley able to get it back. David Tooker's not gonna like that move there. That was a dive bomb if I've ever seen. Ethan Stanley dove it in there. Now David Tooker has to try to figure back a way around. If I had to make a guess, he's not going to wait as long as he did before. We may see a dive bomb back on Ethan Stanley, but I would have to say, out of anybody in this league, Ethan Stanley has the deepest braking points out of anybody. That even goes for circle tracks. I joke that he usually keeps his road course brakes on for every racetrack that we go to. Oh, that's not nice, Tyler Fody. Don't send the 19. Ethan Stanley has made it too easy at these road courses. We need to see a challenge here for the lead that keeps it interesting for us. Now these lap cars have nowhere to go in front of them as they try to figure out a way. This has really slowed down the lap times of our leaders. I mean, you see, it's just so hard to make a pass, even on lap cars, that you might be...
Oh, contact.
Push them out wide. That was close for Jesse Racimas there. Or not Jesse. Yeah, Jesse Racimas there.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, when they get stuck behind a lap car, they're losing seconds on time. So maybe it is only 5 laps down for some of these guys. Well, while that's going on, it looks like William White was able to get around Nick Indelicato to get himself up into the 8th position. Now it's going to be trying to go after Chad Frankenfield for the 7th. So good driving there from William White, able to get that position and still work his way up through the field from his 12th place starting position. As we're getting closer and closer to the halfway point of this race. If this continues up, Dave, I would have to list this as the cleanest race that the Cup Series has had so far this season. Is that too far out of the realm, you think, Dave?
No, that sounds accurate. Now, is that the kiss of death? That'll be the we'll see.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. But yes, I would agree with that.
All it took was for Tyler Fody not to not to be in the race, you know. All of a sudden, we got clean racing. Ethan Stanley now starting to get out to a decent-sized lead, about the biggest lead we've seen the leader have. David Tucker's going to try to see if he can be able to get that back down once again. Only 17 cars on the lead lap. Oh, William White is playing a dangerous game with that sand. Oh, right in front of Mark Ribella, it's got sideways. Allow William White to give a little bit of a bumper. Now it's going to be right in the worst spot for Chad. He's going to have to try to get around him. And I'm going to have to check up just a little bit. Here comes William White trying to see if he can get around Chad Frankenfield. Going to be right on his back bumper. Going to see how they get around turn 5. Right behind them is a battle in the top 10 as well. Scott Crump able to get around Nick Indelicato. Nick Indelicato back around Scott Crump. So they keep switching positions.
Ooh, Chad too deep.
Chad locked it up. Too deep. Gets the bumper onto William White. William White gets around Chad Frankenfield. Again, all it took was one mistake. And William White able to get back around Chad here. Going to continue his battle up through the front. Got some green flag pit stops taking place. I do think this is more of a strategy move. I do think now Alex McComb sees that they've got to lap 43. He can make it on fuel. Around 60 laps is what it takes to get her on a full fuel load to be able to get around here. So some drivers maybe deciding to make an early pit stop. Maybe they don't like where they're running at on track. Maybe they see that they're stuck behind a driver or stuck behind a lot of lap cars, and gets them at a different point on the track and see if they can make up some time here. David Tucker has caught back to Ethan Stanley. I've ran out of water, Dave.
Uh-oh.
Only down here from now.
You can always throw it to a commercial long enough for you to get some water if you need to.
Well, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and give it to commercial break. Get some sponsor shout outs right before we get to the halfway point in this race.
All right, we'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now. For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. Racing, music, camping, it all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And we're back here at the track. Ethan Stanley still trying to hold it off on David Tucker. Before we get to the halfway point, we're going to give it over to Dave to do some sponsor shout out.
All right, tonight is the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar commentary via podcasts, forums, and articles on topics ranging to nearly every sport. Not your usual sports site. Check them out on X or bellyupsports.com. Our race sponsor tonight is Pit Pass NASCAR. Pit Pass NASCAR is the newest podcast from Evergreen Podcast Network, bringing you everything NASCAR, from interviews to analysis. Tune in now. Well, not now. Wait till after this race. Premier sponsors Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. Small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Constraints catalyze creativity. We help businesses punch above their weight class. And finally, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis, Missouri. It features a 1.25-mile track that hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the NTT IndyCar Series. It has a 2-mile infield road course used by Trans Am, SCCA, and Porsche Club of America, a quarter-mile NHRA drag strip that hosts the Midwest Nationals event, and the Kartplex, a state-of-the-art karting facility. Those are our sponsors for tonight, Gerald.
I appreciate you, Dave, for all that you do. A lot of interesting things taking place. A lot of people are picking up, going down and getting their fuel now. And it's really set things up here, as David Tucker actually got around Ethan Stanley. We did not catch that. I'm trying to see how far back it was that happened. Well, needless to say, David Tucker back out in front here, in front of Ethan Stanley. So these two continue to dogfight here in England, as now Ethan Stanley's going to have to see if he can get back around as they continue to come up on more lap cars. I would have to believe this next car is probably going to give David Tucker a little bit of leniency. It's going to be his teammate Matthew Weeks, our points leader, right in front of him. So Matthew Weeks is probably going to make it a little easier on David Tucker, and probably not as easy for Ethan Stanley. Oh, Ty McIntosh. Oh, no.
Oh, this is what I was trying to look at. Odie was giving us a hard time for missing the pass for the lead while we were doing commercials.
Oh, Ethan Stanley locked it up, and that's what caused it. He did what Chad Frankenfield did earlier. Allowed David Tucker to get back around Ethan Stanley there. Tyler Fody, if this was more like Fox, we would be going to commercial break every 5 laps. So which do you want?
NC?
Yeah, well, our sponsors pay good bucks, so we want your attention on them for sure. Oh boy, that's another thing you're going to have to look out for if you're driving around this racetrack. That pit road exit is in the worst spot you could put it on the racetrack. That's coming right into the racing groove in turn number 1. And it gives you no time for either the driver coming off the pit road or the driver coming down the front straightaway passing the drivers coming off the pit road to react, because there's a pit wall blocking all view until literally the last moment you're making the turn. So it's a bad spot, needless to say, for it. Is lap 50, the stage point did go to David Tucker, able to get that stage point locked up. Only the top driver leading the race gets that stage point. That's 1 point to go towards his championship's hopes. Ethan Stanley still trying to dive it in turn number 2 there. Get to the back bumper of David Tucker. Oh, the 35 around right behind him, I believe. Did catch it, I do believe as well. More cars going to be going a lap down here. We're not going to have a real sense of who's on the lead lap and who's not until all the pit cycles are done, as a lot of drivers have taken their fuel.
He's got side by side.
Side by side for the lead. They use the lap car as a pick almost. As Ethan Stanley to the inside. Oh, they're bumping. It's going to put David Tucker out wide, coming out of pit road. Oh, man. Lap traffic really hampering David Tucker here. That was a bad spot for some of those guys. Now David Tucker has to try to get back around Ethan Stanley. I think that is the 4th time we've had a pass for the lead just between these two drivers. And it's usually when one of them catches a bad break or makes a little mistake. Now the question is David Tooker going to come down pit road at a different time than Ethan Stanley, or is he going to want to pit the same time Ethan Stanley does so they continue their battle? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, we don't really have any data on like undercut or overcut. Tires make a huge difference.
I mean, if they're not taking tires, it's not going to be a
it's not
benefit.
It's not going to benefit
one
one way or the other. It's just whoever has the best in or out lap.
Well, it's going to be who catches traffic. Are you going to catch less traffic pitting now, or are you going to catch less traffic staying out and coming out at a better time? So the question is David Tooker going to try to pit at a different time and hope they catches lap traffic at a different, more opportune time?
I guess if you think you can make the pass on the track, then you do whatever Stanley does. If you think you need a break to get past him, then you do opposite.
If I'm David Tooker, I'm probably going to pit at the same time Ethan Stanley is. As Michael Hossack is once again going out there collecting moon samples. See what happened to Michael Hossack here. I don't think it was at this point. He's had a few offs. He's definitely had a few offs tonight, because that wasn't even the one that we saw.
How about this one? Now we're coming up to some sand.
Yeah, I think at this point, Michael Hossack would have had an easier time of things if he would have put all-terrain tires on it.
Stay in the sand. Just stay in the sand.
If he had some grooves, it would have been a little bit better. Oh, Ethan Stanley definitely had a better time getting around that lap car there of Ethan Burrell. That put David Tooker a little bit farther back now, about 0.6 of a second back. That leaves only 9 drivers as of right now on the lead lap.
They're about 4 seconds back from.
Yeah. Again, a lot of these drivers have pitted or off cycle a little bit from where they will be running once all the fuel times are calculated and pit road laps are done. Because McCollum was running in 3rd, and he's running 7th right now.
Yeah, and Tate's already come in. He's in 6th.
So William White pitted as well, and he's running in 10th position. Now, I do believe there's points for leading the most laps, and that might be also what these guys are battling for as well, is staying out and leading these laps, getting these points wrapped up for that as well. So it is beneficial for them to stay out on track and lead these laps like Ethan Stanley's doing. And all of a sudden, David Tooker's been losing time to Ethan Stanley. You'd almost wish he'd just come down pit road so he can reset his braking points maybe. Jeff Frankenfield now running in the 3rd position as our next driver, Chase Cavery, has gone down pit road. Amazing stuff here at Brands Hatch here, as it's been an amazing battle for the lead, and not for a lack of interesting on-track incidences, as there's paths being made everywhere.
Who's Brands Hatch? Is that Casey's son? Or?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. You're lucky I have a voice right now.
I know.
Went through chocolate milk.
When I talk, you don't have to, so then that you're great. Well, I was just trying to give something.
Yeah.
let you
You can
swallow.
talk as much as you want, Dave. I never.
I know. You always tell me that, but you never take a breath to let me talk.
This reminds me back when we were
Truck
doing
days.
the truck season last season. Yeah. I just talked the entire time. Wow.
Oh.
Wow, that was close. That was very close for David Tooker. He did not want to give up the advantage there and kind of forced it almost 3 wide there, getting around those lap cars. He wants to stay right tucked up behind that 92. He wants this to be a battle all the way to the end. He was almost 0.7 of a second back. He's now only 3. So that aggressiveness did pay advantage to David Tooker there. It's been a while since David Tooker has won a road course in the Elite Series, and he's trying to do that now.
A little bit of
Kind of locked it up
brake
there.
rotor glow that time.
Yeah, lost all that track time he gained on Ethan Stanley. Ooh, Ethan got loose. But these guys are pushing it. Right now, only 8 drivers on the lead lap. Our 4th place driver right now, Nick Indelicato, barely makes it onto pit road here. Oh, our leaders are coming down pit road as well. So now's the time for the leaders to come down pit road. It's going to be interesting who's going to have a better pit stop here. Ethan Stanley's going to be in pit stall number 1, and David Tooker pit stall number 2. Just so happens that they have to share it with someone. Oh, Ethan Stanley messed up his pit stop. Overshot it. He's going to lose a couple seconds to David Tooker. Yeah, he's going to absolutely lose a couple seconds to David Tooker. So another pass for the lead happens on pit road. This is absolutely going to be the largest gap from first to second that we've had the entire night. 2 seconds to Ethan Stanley. And Tyler Fode has gone quiet. No more hooting and shouting for him.
Don't forget, he might be watching it on delay, so he may not know yet.
What an impressive showing by all of these drivers. As it's been no quiet announcement that the season's been one of the rough ones with the amount of contact that we've had in the series, and it's it was definitely on the minds of most of these drivers coming in tonight that might occur again at a difficult track like this, but ultimately not the case at all. It's all these drivers have really been able to keep relatively clean and being very mindful. It almost makes me wonder who these guys are, if this is even the race lobby we're supposed to be announcing, Dave, as these are completely different than what we saw at the short tracks just not too long ago, where everyone was running over each other. Let's go over to William White as he's trying to work through some traffic here. He's got Ryan Gavel, who's with much faster pace, went all the way back to 30th, now finds himself trying to get back into the top 10 right behind William White. The drivers still having to make pit stops, and Chad Frankfield's down right now, so these drivers here should be working their way around him.
Ryan Scholl, Seth Rawls, last 2.
Oh, no, Chad, oh boy. Came off of pit road and gave no room immediately. To the side of the 10 there. Oh, bumping and a banging is occurring. 4-car battle here. Frankenfield just came off pit road right in front of Nick Indelicato. Nick Indelicato trying to see if he can be able to work to the inside. Dives it in. Side by side going into turn number 5. Chad,
oh, he spun him.
Saves it.
Nice save.
So like to be able to get around. That's going to allow, or that's going to cost 3 spots for Nick Indelicato. Ryan Campbell. Oh, into William White. 3-car around. William White got spun around there. William White locked it up, went through the grass and right into the side of that 43. Oh boy. Came right back out and hit him. Nick Indelicata into the side of Ryan Gavel there. We got a few things to go back and take a look on there. Go back onto this part here. This is a good one to see. Nick Indelicata, he does. He got some down. I really can't blame that one on Chad. Nick Indelicata kind of was hoping Chad would back off of it, but that is not the driver to expect that from. Has a tough spot to go too wide. And Chad announces on the radio as such, he is not ever going to back out of a spot. He's never going to give anyone the position. And,
no quarter.
No quarter.
It's a Led Zeppelin song. They're from England.
William White has a lot of positions. Unfortunate for the home field advantage driver there. Is racing at 1 o'clock, I believe, almost 2 o'clock. It's a late night for him. He is falling all the way back down to, where is he?
All the way down to 14th now.
Oh, that's rough. Battling inside the top 10 to be back there in 14th. All these drivers in front of them better watch out. The British are coming. The British are coming. By land and sea, it's the British to coming. That's William White. He's going to work his way through that field as quickly as possible. Only 10 drivers on the lead lap right now. Did you like that? I don't know. I made that on the spot, Dave.
Yeah, it's all right. It wasn't too offensive.
Okay. Well, what do you mean offensive? What do you mean offensive?
I don't know. I'm not sure the British people like us pointing out the fact that we
won
Revolutionary War. We're insurrectionists to them, right?
It's kind of in every Star Spangled Banner. Every time we do Pledge of Allegiance, it's kind of an homage to that.
Ethan's way loose. Lose a little more time.
Oh boy, yeah. Trying to get around lap traffic. And let's go on board with, not on board, but let's take a look at David Tucker, because he is not in a good spot either. He has come up on a group of drivers that are battling it out. He sees that he's got that lead up to 4 seconds, but oh boy, they're too wide up there getting loose. David Tucker's going to have a hold on moment here as he's trying to get through this. He's put on a pretty good gap to Ethan Stanley. Now he has to try to get around the 91 there. Put Johnny Thomas a lap down again. Oh, car off for Ryan Schold. He's running in the 10th spot. Goes out wide into the sand. David Tucker is going to be able to get a little bit of breathing room. Lapping now into the top 10. That's when this is going to get a little bit difficult for these drivers. He's got about 4 drivers all in the top 10 in front of him. All within 5 seconds that he's going to have to be able to try to work around. I am quite surprised Tate Lytle has not pitted yet. Running in the 3rd position, he is going to have to pit here before it's all too far said. Now that lead. Now it's going to go to the advantage of David Tucker, because now Ethan Stanley has all those lap cars to have to try to work around. He gets caught up behind the 4 and the slow part of the turn number 5. That's not going to help.
Oh, he missed all that.
Corey Abbott came back down in front of the 25, almost took out 2nd place driver Ethan Stanley. I think he got into the dirt. Got into the dirt, spun it around. And
Ooh,
bam.
Seth Rawls. Hit him hard.
Seth Rawls hits him hard. That's 10th place running Seth Rawls, too. I think Corey Abbott might have called it quits at that. Ethan Stanley still finds himself 4 seconds back. Only 9 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Gavel, the next car to go a lap down. Let's take a look at Ryan Gavel there as he's trying to get around. Trying to catch up to get around his teammate there, Scott Crump, right in front of him. Let's also take a look at Nick Indelicato, because he is, he voiced his displeasure with Chad Frinkeveld. He's gonna, if he gets the chance, I think he might be throwing it in on Chad here, if he gets up to him. It's gonna be something here in the next 25 laps that we're gonna definitely want to make sure we keep our eyes on. More incidences on track? Oh no, Goody again. I think Goody's ready to leave. I think Goody's ready to go back to the States. I think this is
right in front of
boy.
Hossack.
And Michael Goodman 9 laps down. I think the last guy running on the racetrack right now. 9 laps down. I think he's ready to be done. I think he might be calling it done. Ryan Gavel here is trying to see if he can catch up to his teammate, but he's going to have to keep his eyes on right behind him because in shot is David Tooker. David Tooker needs to start picking up the pace here a little. Ethan Stanley has already cut off another half a second off that lead. And it's not due to the fact David Tooker's had to deal with lap traffic. He really hasn't had anyone right in front of him. Ethan Stanley was over half a second faster that lap. We're going to see at the line here if that changes. It goes back to David Tooker's way. One thing to note, though, that 92 runs for Lake Norman. There's 2 Lake Norman cars right in front of him that David Tooker has to lap here. The next 2 drivers that David Tooker has to get around is going to be Lake Norman. So needless to say, it's not over, folks. 25 laps left. We still may see a battle for the lead here once again. Now that we haven't had it, we've had about 6 or 7 lead changes before between these 2 drivers. Ethan Stanley, if anything doesn't work out for him tonight, he's going to go back and look at what happened on that pit stop to really mess up his chances here tonight. And he overshot his pit boxes and missed out on having a clean pit stop. Dave, do you have any information on Tate Lytle? Has he pitted yet?
Let's see. Yes, he has. He pitted at lap 45.
He pitted way early then.
Yep.
Oh. So Tate Lytle able to work his way up into 3rd position with strategy, right in front of McCollum and Chase Cabry. So that'd be another thing that we have to watch and see if those 2 road course drivers. Oh, Goody's back out there.
He's just going to drive on the grass now.
You know, to be fair,
Safer.
at that point, I don't think I would get off the grass. I just continue on the grass all the way around. Find whatever shortcut you can. We'll look contact. Jonathan Cutlip into the side of Ryan Schold. Sent him up the racetrack. Ryan Schold back underneath. Going to send him wide. Sends Cutlip out wide. It's going to cost Cutlip 2 spots on track. So needless to say, Ryan Schold not happy that he got moved, and in return gave no room back to Jonathan Cutlip. Let's go back on with Ryan Gavel Nick Indelicato, because this is going to get interesting. Look who we have here, folks. We've got Chad Frankenfield stacking them up behind him, and we got Nick Indelicato. They may owe one here to Chad Frankenfield in his mind. Now we're keeping our eyes on here, but have to absolutely give a shout out to Jordan Owens, running in the 13th position. That man not having the best of seasons, and to come out tonight on a track no one probably put him, as a top 15 contender, having a pretty flawless race so far for Jordan Owens. So congratulations to him, and give him his just dues. That's a very impressive run that 16 car is having tonight. The lead down now to under 2 seconds. David Tooker still having problems being able to run consistent laps. Oh, 26th round. That was our 16th place driver. Now, when does it become time that you have to make the move? Because this is for 6th position, and leader is right there in frame. And you have to wonder when Nick Indelicato is going to have to press the issue, because Chad is really starting to stack up these drivers behind him. $20 laps left to go in this event. David Tooker coming to get it down to 19 laps left to go. Still has a little less than 2 second, or a little less than 3 second advantage. Here comes Nick.
Oh, he's inside of him.
Gets a bumper. Lets him know he's there. Chad's going to hold him off. He's going to have the preferred line going into this turn.
Bumper. Big bump.
A bang, and they're back in the same spot they were when Nick Indelicato got turned. Let's see if it's a repeat. Almost was. Oh, man.
There's a bump.
Chad back to the bumper of Nick Indelicato. It feels like it's short track, folks. We're back at one, as it looks like the bumpers are being exchanged here. Chad's going to have the preferred line. Are they going to give each other room? No, they're not. They're still bumping and banging. Chad's got a lot of front end damage now. The bumper's all beat up on the front. Going to have the preferred line again. It's going to push him up wide. Nick Indelicato going to have the switchback. Is he going to give him the bumper again?
He does.
Bump him one more time. Oh, gets loose. They're side by side in a bad spot. Our leader's right behind him. Oh, no. Banging with 18 laps to go. I'm losing my voice, but I can't stop screaming.
I think if I'm the leader, I might back off a little bit.
Chad's going to lose the spot there finally. Brian Gable able to get around. David Tooker's just hoping to get by. And Goody's here to save my throat.
How's it going? How's the racing action out there?
Are you still in the grass? Are you driving around in the grass now?
Look at this spot. This is bad. This is bad for our leader, David Tooker. Jeff Frankenfield's in a fit right now. He is not happy. He's beating and banging with anybody he can get his hands on. Side by side with Ryan Gable. Tooker's got nowhere to go. This is exactly what Ethan Stanley needed. He's down to 1.5. David Tooker throws it in there.
Contact.
Oh, they touched. Oh.
pushes him out wide. David Tucker, he almost got hooked. Chad almost took the leader. David Tucker's allowed down to 1 second. Scott Crump right behind. Ethan Stanley down 10.8.
But Stanley's got to get by Crump and Frankenfield battling for position.
Chad's not looking to help anybody out right here. Dives it back on Scott Crump. Oh, man.
Oh, big touch right in front of Stanley.
The 10th lap in a row, it feels like. It looks like Chad Frankenfield's put a bumper to somebody.
Yeah, that front bumper's caved in.
You have to wonder why he wanted to come to this track, and I think we know why.
Gets that contact out of the way.
Ethan Stanley does a masterful job to get around him. Now he's got one person there. Oh, boy, almost taken out by his teammate. Amazing racing, Rich. 16 laps to go. And the bumping's not done. Chad Frankenfield and Scott Crump are still in a bad. And now Ethan Stanley is a 1.5 seconds behind the leader with 15 laps to go. Can he get it done?
Man, you sound like the guy from the NFL wildcard game a few years back when Marcus Mariota caught his own touchdown pass.
Is that a bad thing?
No, it's exciting. It actually makes you sound more excited.
Yeah, that's right. Giving it all.
Yeah, you're letting it all in the line here.
I don't think we're going to have a podcast tomorrow, I'll be honest.
you're announcing just like Frankenfield's running. You're leaving nothing out on
I'm
the
giving
airways.
my boards, folks. I'm giving you all I got. They're racing hard up here, and it's exciting. Everyone's on their feet watching this. If you're at home, stand up. It's not done.
Yeah,
We waited until the end for the bumpers to come out.
Man, that battle between Tooker and Stanley is, even on track when I've seen them go by every 2 laps, it was a pretty intense one. And I didn't realize there was this many battles going on for position around the whole track.
It hasn't stopped. Our leaders have been battling. There's been 7 lead changes between David Tooker and Ethan Stanley. They're very evenly matched. All that cost them losing position between each other was either from a lap car or a mistake. And all Ethan Stanley needs to do is to get to that back bumper of David Tooker to have a shot. As they still have more lap cars to have to get around. They still have one more Lake Norman car for David Tooker to have to try to work around. You have to believe Ryan Gable's not going to give that position up easily.
And he's not going to want to give it up either. He's got Indelicato right ahead of him, battling for position there as well. So you don't want to pull
It's
over
for
and
the
let
6th
Tooker by.
position too.
Yeah, it's for a top 10 spot. Tooker's just got to be smart here, be patient, but yet, you still got Stanley on the, right behind you, 1.6 seconds back, slowly creeping in.
He's lost more time. He's stuck right behind Ryan Gable. He's just lost another 3/10 of a second there. There's not a lot of passing opportunities here.
Yeah, there is. And talking about, I'm trying to let people by when I was getting lapped about 900.
We saw. At the end there, you're just running the grass, I think.
Oh yeah, I figured it needed a mow job. And
Did the pit crew put the all-terrain tires on for you?
all-terrain tires, and on the instead of the I can't remember what they call it. They have that cover on the bottom of the car now. And they put a lot more plate. I can't remember what that's called.
I'm so glad you showed up here, Goody, because I'm absolutely going to lose it here before it's all done. And I probably will need you to do the interviews.
All right. Well, you might lose your voice if that. Well, now Tooker's kind of pulling away just a little bit on Stanley. I think it's kind of plateaued, but if that 92 catches that 19, your voice might be done.
Gavel got loose.
Gavel got loose.
Oh.
That's all David Tooker needed. He's going to be able to throw it in there. He's not going to hesitate. He's going to want to get that spot as fast as he can.
So, and Tooker lost about 2/10 making that pass, even though Gable kind of gave it up pretty willingly. You wonder how much he's going to give to Stanley, his teammate there.
I would have to guess he's going to give plenty wide for him. David Tooker is running a heck of a race right now because he just got around Nick Indelicato pretty quickly. Nick Indelicato very graciously allowed him to get by without much fight.
But now, what does Campbell do now? Because now he's right on the back bumper, looking on the inside of Indelicato, so that might not bode well for Stanley either. Even though they're teammates, he's going to try to want to get that 6th spot.
Where David Tooker's advantage has been all night long has been his aggression with lap cars. He gave a bump to Chad Frankenfield to get around him, not trying to get held up. And that's really been where David Tooker's strong suit has been.
And there really is only one passing opportunity, like legit passing zone in this track, and that's going to
turn 2. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's so hard to pass here, and heck, it's so hard to get out of the way, even if you want to. I think Tooker lost the lead at least once because of my doing, but now that we say that 9 laps to go, it's about a 2-second lead advantage for David Tooker.
Indelicato went wide.
Give him that spot back. Oh man, that was my pick. And speaking of the podcast here, you know who Ethan's pick was?
I know, David Tooker.
Yep, David Tooker.
Mine was Ethan Stanley.
Oh, so this is mano-a-mano here. Even
Yeah.
trying to battle
Last guy
Campbell
in
here.
points and first guy in points in the picking leagues.
Would you have it any other way?
Yeah. Who's Gavel?
Gavel.
Outside? Oh boy.
He's saying, hey, Stanley, go get him, let it eat, see if he can do anything, one last-ditch effort, but I don't know if it's too late for Ethan Stanley to catch the 19 of Tooker. Oh, man.
There's not a lot of lap cars in front of David Tooker. Oh, Ethan Burrell.
Burrell. Oh, Burrell,
Ethan Burrell off the racetrack. I'm not sure what happened to Ethan.
Yeah, just kind of...
He was running in 17th position. He had the do-good curse. Do-good has not had a good race here tonight.
No, it's not been good. Oh, I wonder if he bottomed out. I know he said he was having troubles with that. Oh, he got totally sideways. Yeah, from the pit road penalty to now spinning out, a rough night for Ethan Burrell, who looked like he had a pretty solid top 10 run going.
It looked like he was looking for a picnic table out there.
He was wondering where me and Dewar were at. We're drinking beer out of the...
He's like, where's the rest of do-good at?
Oh, man. Jeff Green sitting in his lawn chair drinking iced tea right now.
Oh, David Tooker locked it up a little bit. Oh, Ethan Stanley really ate on that time.
Can Stanley pull what Christopher Bell did on Sunday, trying to close that gap? There you see the time difference, 0.3 of a second on last
You've got
lap.
to remember, Ethan Stanley, the last few road courses, has been denied his win. Last time we were at a road course, Ryan Gable took it over him.
I feel like that happens a lot to Stanley.
Yeah, Ethan Stanley has not been very good at closing out these races. And he's wanting to be able to prove that. Wow, he took a lot of time there going to turn 1. Cost it. Oh, it cost a lot on him.
He
went out into the dirt.
All in the line, though. Got to give him that. Love it.
Well, even if they spin out or make a mistake, it's 13 seconds to hit line.
Man, oh man, only 5 cars on the lead lap, but I don't think that's indicative to how crazy this race has been. The battles throughout the racetrack have...
no, based off the times, crazy. I predicted there was only going to be 5 guys on the lead lap.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised third place is only 14 seconds back, to be quite honest.
You told me, I'd be 5 laps down after 100. Hell, I was looking at... I was like, hey, I'm 5 laps down after 34.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, that's if you stayed on track, I said.
Yeah, that's true too. There's that.
Under 5 laps to go. David Tooker has it right now over Ethan Stanley, but that is not a very big gap. That's one mistake, one lockup, and that will cause Ethan Stanley to be on the back bumper of him. He cannot be able to lose concentration now. For the last hour and a half they've been driving. Last hour and a half, Ethan Stanley and David Tooker have been battling it out for this lead through lapping, if I had to guess, somewhere around 125 cars in this race.
Yeah.
125 cars they've had to be able to pass at this point.
And that might even be on the low end there too. But right now, pretty clear sailing for Tooker. I can't quite make out who's ahead of him. But hopefully for Tooker, he doesn't catch.
Chad Frankenfield and Scott Crump bumping and banging still.
Oh boy, those two boys have history that's well documented.
Scott was not happy with him. He gave him a bump going into turn 2. We'll see if the bumping's done here.
See if Chad can pull away. If Crump can catch him, I'm sure there's not going to be any love lost there. There isn't on a good day. Oh, actually, Crump trying to stay
that's
off
what
his
happened.
family.
That's what happened earlier. Battle for the 4th position happening on track. That's going to be Chase Cabry and McCollum battling
for the 4th spot, and as we say, Tooker's lead's shrunk down to about a second.
I think he's just trying to be careful.
Yep, I was just going to say earlier too, I wonder if he's just kind of taking it easy, but as you said, you don't want to do too much, because if you do a little slip up, Stanley's going to be right there on the back bumper.
Yeah, these two are teammates here, so you'd have to predict that they're going to be somewhat clean with each other here. Back out front here with 2 to go. David Tooker, back tires or back brakes are all heated up. Less than a second back, it's going to be Ethan Stanley. David Tooker's got a couple more lap cars to be able to get around here before it's all said and done. Can that 19 car be able to be back on top for these road courses?
Man, it feels like it's been a long time since we've seen Tooker take a checkered flag at a road course. He's always up there, but I think it's been a while since he's won. I could be mistaken on that, but he used to be pretty dominant. But man, there's probably a couple opportunities for Stanley to drive it in deep and close that gap and maybe get on the bumper. One more lap to go. He's got to do it now.
Scott Crump was able to get around Chad Frankenfield, but here is David Tooker through turn number 1, down the bottom of that track, able to still have a second lead over Ethan Stanley. We came to a road course that looks like a short track, smells like a short track, bumps like a short track, but we are at a road course, and wouldn't you know, the classic driver, David Tooker, the road course expert, David Tooker, the original road course expert, David Tooker, is going to be back on top here in the Elite Series at the road course. That's going to be win number 1 here of the season for David Tooker for Pro Edge.
How about that? What a drive for both those guys. Gotta pat themselves on the back. That was a great drive for both the 19 and the 92. That was fun to watch. Even up here in the booth, out on the track, it was fun to watch. When they lapped me, that was
I think you would have had more fun if you were here with me from the beginning.
You're not lying. You're not lying. But there you see the congratulatory bumps by Indelicato and Gable. I'm sure Burrell, team owner, gonna give him a bump. There he goes. Win number 1.
What a race here that we watched for the Pit Pass NASCAR 125 here, race number 8. What a race we saw with these, not only with the amount of passes for the lead, but for the most part, clean driving from a lot of the drivers. And we got a classic victory and a classic race on our hand. And that was with David Tooker able to get it done.
Yeah, as you say that, you look at the final results. Again, you see only 5 cars on the lead lap. And I know me and you, Gerald, were talking during practice that we thought this race was going to be way more chaotic than it was. And, me personally, driving points, from driving stance, I don't like it, but it seemed like it was a very entertaining show to put on here at Brands Hatch.
Well, we're gonna go through the field here, and then I'm gonna give it to you, Goody, if you can, because I'm hurting.
We don't have anybody yet, so.
Yeah,
not yet. But David Tooker able to get the win over Ethan Stanley by 1 point. Just 1 second, really. Ethan Stanley able to come home in second. Tate Lytle able to get into the 3rd position. Alex McCullen 4th. Chase Cabry, our final driver, on the lead lap in 5th. Brian Gable came back from an early spin to a really good finish of finishing it in 6th position. Nick Indelicato 7th, Scott Crump 8th, Chad Frankenfield 9th, Seth Rawls 10th, William White able to come back to 11th, disappointed with what happened with his race, but needless to say, he still came back to a strong finish. Points leader, Matthew Weeks came home 12th, Jordan Owens 13th, Ryan Scholl 14th, Jonathan Cutlip 15th, Justin Fortner 16th, Gavin Hibbs in 17th, and Ethan Burrell bringing that do-good car home in 18th.
I mean, I know it's not the result Ethan wanted, but hey, that's good for a do-good car.
The rest of these drivers here probably are happy to be leaving England. Probably not even a stop for a tea. They're just going to take the ride home and hope to have better things happen in America. So that's the rest of the field here. We do have some of our drivers in the waiting room, and I'm going to give it over to Goody here to do the rest of the announcing here.
All right, we'll bring Tate up here. There we go. We got Tate Lytle up here in the elite booth, and Tate got the podium finish. And first off, I have to do the interview because Gerald's so mad at you. What do you say to that?
Yeah,
That's
right.
That's fine. I do think it's funny that you two are the ones that are doing it after the season.
Hey, why not? Why not?
Right, Lytle cheated to get his way into 3rd place. Let's hear from the cheater himself. No,
the cheater. But all things said, I don't know what your thoughts were going into this race. I thought it was going to be way more chaos. I guess as Gerald said, about 5 cars on lead lap. That seems about right for how short this is. Tell us about your experience and out on the track tonight. What got you into that podium in 3rd?
I had a lot of fun. I actually was able to put a little practice in this week, which hasn't really been a trend for most of the season so far. So had a couple laps with Tucker the other night, and I felt like that helped me a lot. He was obviously, him and Stanley were 13 seconds ahead of me for those last couple laps, but I felt like I was even with Alex and Chase, and when they pitted, they took tires. When I pitted, I kind of pitted early when I caught traffic and didn't take tires, took just as much fuel as I needed, and I felt like that's kind of the difference between me, Alex, and Chase. But I think Gavel probably would have been up probably between me and them had he not had his issues, but almost lost it all. Last corner on the first lap, caught the gravel and fell back about 12th or 13th, but I enjoyed it. It was a fun race. Thanks to any of my work friends or my dad if they're still watching. Thanks to days gone by, Brent Wentz. It was a fun race. Good win to Tucker. I know it's been a little while for him, and glad to see him actually be able to put a little bit of time into it too, and it paid off for him.
Yeah, those two guys put on a masterful show. If you have to go back, you should check it out. That was fun to watch. It was fun watching you lap me. I'm glad I didn't get in your way. We didn't have any tussles there either.
I felt like I always caught you on the exit of turn 2, so it worked out.
Yeah, that was good. I was glad when people caught me there. I can tell you that. But you kind of already said it though too, that Stanley and Tucker were the class of the field all night long. Do you feel like there's anything that you could have done to close that gap? I think, what was it, 14 seconds or so, or was it just more time during the week?
Well, it ended up being 18 there at the end. I kind of was given 8th, 9th, and 10th space to race it out, but it was probably like 13, and I probably lost. I don't know. I felt like I was running lap times that were similar to them. I put it in the gravel on lap 1 and fell back to 13th, and that was probably honestly the difference. I don't think I would have had anything for them, but I think I would have been close enough. I ended up getting Tucker by 1/1000th with like 5 to go on fastest lap, so I'll take that one. Take a small win, but definitely some room to grow on the road courses. But I guess P3 room to grow, we'll take it. Good points, Dave.
Heck yeah, always looking up. But next week, Coke 600. How you feeling for next week?
Well, it's gonna be. I don't care if I finish 36th as long as Fody finishes 37th. So.
That's
I think,
right.
and I think it's a great. I think that's a great track for the two of us, because if I were to pick a track that's mine are his best track other than him at like Daytona or Talladega, I would say probably Charlotte. So hopefully we're both clean at the end and we can race it out there. And I think it'll be pretty entertaining. I hope we're able to do it for a win and not whoever has the fewest amount of damage by lap 200. But should be fun. I like Charlotte, obviously. If I remember right, the car's it's like a awkward tight, so we'll see how that is to manage tires. But we have 400 laps to learn about it, so should be fun.
Fody in the chat said, "I'm gonna spin Tate out."
Well,
What do you say to that?
hey, as long as I don't hit anything too hard, I don't care.
Hey, and
I'll,
what if it's on the last lap too for the money on the line?
How much money is on the line?
Is it 100?
Yes, it's
Uh,
100. It's $100.
He might hear about it like in that moment, but an hour later, I probably won't care very much.
Yeah. He might buy you a cup of coffee or something too. You never know.
It'll be pretty cold by the time it gets over here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Fody, I'm sorry that you missed tonight. I feel like me and you could have had a good battle. I probably would have done the same thing to you that I did to Gerald on Monday, but you know what? I wouldn't have felt bad. I wouldn't have felt bad. Sorry, Gerald. I had to throw one dig at you, and I just had to strike that nerve. But you can kick me out of here now.
Would you have said it was his fault as well?
I didn't say it was your fault, but
you did too. You did too.
No,
Well,
I know it was my fault. I just didn't care. Didn't care. Was not in a position that day to give a you know what. So sorry that you got wrecked.
I mean, to be fair, Gerald, it was a Monday. Stuff happens on Mondays.
Yeah,
I blame my throat being the way it is because I was yelling at Tate so much.
Ooh.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Sorry
right.
you're mad, but I still don't care. I still don't care. All right. Next in line is the road course ringers.
All right, we'll bring we'll give the floor to them. But congratulations on the podium finish, Tate.
Thanks for jumping up your goodie.
Yeah, no problem. All right, next up we do have Ethan Stanley, who came home in second. And Stanley, you and Tooker were locking horns all day. Oh, so close! I believe about a second back. What was the big difference tonight?
Slid my stall on the pit road and lost the lead by a couple seconds, and then pushed a little bit too hard trying to catch back up, and just had nothing at the end.
Yeah, we saw you dig, and it almost looked like Christopher Bell versus blanking right now. William Byron at Coda on Sunday, and just couldn't quite get there. But man, it seems like you're always bad fast at these road courses, but you just never can seem to get it done. You always have kind of some tough luck, or maybe unlucky pit stall like you had tonight. But man, gotta win one of these, don't you, man?
Yeah, I think I'm on my 8th second place of the year for Elite so far.
Yeah,
and it's getting kind of tiring finishing second all the time.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sure. Is there another road course this year yet? I feel like we have one.
We got one in the playoffs, I think.
I'm trying to Road America. Hell yeah, head to my neck of the woods. I'm all about that. I'll still suck there, but hey, I'm giving you the Wisconsin will to go win there in a couple months when we head there. I'm sure you won't need it because you'll be bad fast. But as I was talking to Tate too, this is basically a road course that drove like a short track almost, especially in terms of road courses. What was your feel? How did you like it? Was it better? Was the race even better than what you thought it was going to be?
I was happy to have a good battle with Tooker, but not a big fan of the way traffic plays out. I wish we ran like a longer layout just so we could have a bit more spread out of a field and not running into packs of cars all the time. But it was pretty fun. I enjoyed my battle with Tooker, and had a pretty good time.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. As being one of those lap cars he passed about 10 times, I was thinking the same thing. I wish there was more room for me to get the hell out of the way. But I'm glad that Nothing overly what the lap cars did affect you. I'm sure it was probably pretty even between the two of you there. Do you
Yeah,
kind of
just
agree?
about.
Yeah. And unfortunately that pit stall. But next week we had different long race at I guess the classic oval of Charlotte for the Coke 600, the World 600. How you feeling for next week?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm usually pretty decent at Charlotte. Was really decent in the season finale last season. So gonna try to go for a win.
Hell yeah, I love it. I love it. I love that. Get off the bridesmaid and become a bride next Wednesday. I'm hope maybe I'll pick you for the podcast picks. Is that gonna be a safe bet?
I don't know if it's a safe bet, but I should be somewhere near the top 5.
Hey, that's safe enough for me. If you wreck or something, at least go for the win.
Yeah, Rutgers or Checkers.
Hell yeah, I love it. But before we let you go, celebrate that second place. Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, just big shout out to Blue Egg Marketing and JD Designs for being on the car. Big shout out to the Lake Norman guys. I couldn't hear them tonight. My PC decided to have issues this night of all nights, so couldn't hear my teammates really during the race. But big shout out to them. They had a pretty solid race.
If
And
you
a
could
big,
have heard them there, would you been yelling at Gavel to get out of your way there at the end?
I mean, he held up Tooker enough that I'm not really too mad about it. Um, but yeah, I don't think it could have really played out any different, even with the chat. But yeah, just unfortunate luck a little bit there for me. But yeah, just big shout out to you guys as well for doing the broadcast and everybody that makes the league run.
Heck yeah. Well, again, congratulations on the second place run. Hopefully, sometime soon we'll hear you in victory lane.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. Ethan Stanley coming home in second. Next up, we got the winner. David Tooker takes home the checkered. And man, a couple years ago, man, you were the guy to beat on road courses. It seems like it's been a while. How's it feel to be back in victory lane?
Goody, it feels fantastic. I don't know if you can tell, I'm very exhausted after that race because that was an incredible long race. Actually, I didn't think it was going to be that long and that physical, but no, that was definitely our best race of the season so far. And just can't really go without shedding light on it. But what an intense battle for the lead there with Stanley. Me and him have had our run-ins in the past, but I think we both knew that we just had to throw that to the side and just race each other as best we could, and I feel like we did that tonight. I don't think you can expect there to not be contact, which I mean there was a few times, and that's just that's racing, that's battling for the lead. He gave me the bumper a few times, I gave him the bumper a few times, but it was all with respect. Nobody got ran off track or took anybody out, so it was as clean as it could be in my book, and I definitely gained a lot of respect for him out on the track with that. But overall, just a great race for the 19 team at least. I knew going into the race we had some good pace. I actually put in some time this time, Gerald. I know you're sitting there waiting to ask me some questions, but put some time in this time and knew we were right there on pace with Stanley, and that was going to be our biggest competition, was just that and really getting through the lap traffic, which really played in my favor for a lot of the race. And also, unfortunately, Stanley missing his box. I really wish I would have seen how that would have played out between us if he didn't do that, but it is what it is. But overall, just an awesome race. Really happy with this one for sure.
No, I think the gauntlet helped you. Racing at night, the gauntlet just kind of got you prepared for this race. Real quick, what was your thoughts whenever you saw? Because you had the best seat in the house when Chad went on a little tangent of everybody's my enemy, and I think you became one of them too, because I think he hooked you a little bit. What was your viewpoint and perspective of Chad Frankenfield's little incident there that almost caused you to essentially almost lose out on winning this race?
I didn't really think too much of it, to be honest. I knew they had a run-in. I didn't know what started it. I honestly didn't see what caused their run-ins. But like I said, I feel like a little bumper here and there is no harm, no foul, especially at a track like this that's so hard to pass. I mean, we had maybe 2 passing zones, which was turn 2 in the last turn, and even then, those were incredibly tough to not mess up and take out the guy next to you. But you know, I was getting a little nervous there, especially because you gotta, as the leader, you kind of have to understand, you know, they're racing for position, even though they're about to go a lap down, they're still racing for a top 10, maybe even top 5 spot. So it's you gotta kind of, you know, you understand it a little bit, but you also do get a little frustrated. I knew I had to be as quick as I possibly could through that traffic. Like I gave Chad a little bit of a door check, a little bit, which was, you know, I threw it in there a little bit, but I knew he was going to be probably the hardest one of that group to pass, so I just had to get it done when I did. And a little bit of a hook. I mean, I don't really think he meant to do that. I think it was just, again, probably a little bit of frustration and a little bit of me kind of tracking out on him to make that pass. So I don't think it was anything intentional or meant by any means, but you know, we had to do that. I felt like that was the easiest way to get through that traffic, was to shove your nose in the places that they may not have wanted, and I got to his inside. I just had to just stick it there, and then, you know, Nick has a lot of respect for me. He luckily let me go on the front stretch, which is great. I mean, lap cars, even though there was not much room, they did a great job tonight for staying out of the way of the leaders, especially when we were battling. You know, we were not even I feel like 3 car lengths apart at one point. So everybody in Elite tonight did a great job of keeping it on track and respecting the lead battle there, but also managing, you know, their own race, which I really do appreciate. So big shout out to them. But again, just really, really happy with this performance. That's definitely the best race I've had all year long.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was surprised. You know, me and Gerald were even talking before the race. We've mentioned this with the other 2 guys as well, but I am surprised how clean and and it was fun watching battles, especially being one of the slow guys out there, watching everyone go by. But I would say that was one of the biggest scares I had before the race was are these guys gonna get by me cleanly? Will I have that opportunity to to let the leaders go by, and everyone seemed to figure it out. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It seems like until the green flag went out. Well, I guess I didn't know what I was doing before that either, or after that. But yeah, it was a clean race, and man, I did not know how this race is going to play out, but as I believe Gerald said before, like the Martinsville of road courses, would you be looking forward to coming back here again?
You know, it definitely, now that I've got the win there, I shoot, you could throw this race on any schedule any day of the week. I'll be there. But no, it was cool to come here. You know, I thought we were going to be running the GP course, which, like, I listened to Stanley's interview, that definitely would have gave a lot more room to let some guys through, or whatever it may be. But no, I definitely agree. That was definitely the Martinsville of the road courses. But like you said, it went a lot better than it could have. This track, you know, there's so many places you can make such crucial mistakes. You know, going off in the sand, off of turn 1, or even locking up into 2, and even going into the last corner, slightly overcook the entry, and you go off there. So really didn't see a lot of that tonight from our guys, which is awesome. You know, I love seeing everybody run clean and getting better every single week at these road courses. I know it's not the consistent ones we like, and I really do feel like that would help us a lot too, is just having it be consistent. But you know, I as a road course fan, I do love these little one-offs that we get. If we were to come back here, I'd definitely be happy about it though.
Heck yeah, I might even be entertain it, but we'll see about that. But next week, the World 600. How does Tooker end up back here in Victory Lane?
Well, I don't know. I think it's a lot of luck, to be honest, because the past few 600s that we've ran, I've gotten first, second, and first. So I think my records there, and my reputation at that track, especially with it being an oval, is looking pretty good. Unfortunately, I wasn't at the last Coke 600. I was out of town when it was the championship battle, which I felt like we definitely could have played a hand in there. But you know, I'm looking forward to it. I got a special paint scheme in mind for that one as well. This car came out great for John, or thanks to John. So shout out to JD Designs. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to Charlotte. That's one of my favorite ovals on the sim, and looking forward to battling it out with whoever it may be up front.
Ooh, heck yeah! I can't wait to see what old JD has for the patriotic. Is it gonna be patriotic?
I can't give any hints.
Okay. Oh,
It's
no
forever
spoilers.
disclosed. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm sure it's gonna be pretty badass. So I'm looking forward to that. But before we let you go or give any shout outs, Gerald, you got anything for him? Got anything left in the tank, Gerald?
Good job, Tucker. You proved yourself right on the gauntlet that you were going to put in the time. Now you have to do that every time. Now you're going to have to keep it up. Like
Set that
Norman
bar high.
had the last 4 wins at road courses, and they think that this is a one-off from you. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that's the case or not.
You're right. We'll definitely have to see, but you know, I'm excited now that's that little bit of effort that I put in got me here. So I think I'm gonna put in a little bit more for Road America later on in the year, and we'll see how that turns out, because that's definitely one of my favorite road
I
courses.
was holding my breath that you didn't have an incident where you logged off, because it always seems like you always
It
end
gets
up being
me
kicked out of a lobby.
Every time, man. No, the
Because you're
500
saving
my
it for the
power will now.
champion. Yeah, you're saving it for a championship race, huh?
Oh, don't remind me. Don't remind me.
How many times
Oh,
does that
boy.
happen? Twice.
It's twice in the championship and the 500 earlier this year. I was running second with 2 to go, and my power went out right in front of me. I was just like, well,
You did
I'm
that in the championship race with me for my first cup championship, and then you did that in my second cup championship. You blinked out as well.
you're very welcome.
Yeah, you're
So
my lucky dog. You're my
wow.
luckiness.
So you're saying, Gerald, you shouldn't even be a champion?
Maybe if the world was just a little different, Tooker could be the 2-time champion instead of me.
Wow,
This maybe.
that's a
This
butterfly
maybe.
effect right there. That's crazy.
Didn't happen though. I'm still the 2-time champion. Sorry.
That's true. It's reality sucks sometimes, doesn't it?
You're deserving. Don't shoot yourself down.
Depends on who you talk to. Good job tonight, Tooker. Good job for the battling and clean racing, and definitely was exciting. I would have to put it probably as one of the best road courses Elite's ever watched on here, and we proved tonight that we can, for the most part, race clean and be able to battle things out respectively. And good job that you gave Pro Edge a good name after what happened on Monday.
I knew that was gonna be brought up. I just didn't know when. Oh
I waited
man,
till
that's
the end.
funny.
Oh man, poor Tate. I feel bad
Tate's
for
just
him now.
catching all the bullets now. It's never gonna stop. Give it a couple weeks. Maybe it'll change. But no, I'm glad you touched on the respect thing, especially because I've noticed, at least league wide and even just iRacing wide, the amount of respect has definitely taken a hit. And I just knew that if me and Stanley could battle it out clean, me and him, like I said, have had our run-ins in the past and aren't typically the biggest fans of each other, but we just both I feel like we both knew subconsciously that we just had to throw that out the window and put on a good show, and I'm
You did
glad that we
lead it
could show
halfway,
it.
didn't you? You did lead halfway, right?
I think so. I took the lead at least once or twice during that green
Okay.
flag run. Yeah.
I'm almost certain. Well, you're going to need to go into the Elite chat, because I think Scott Crump gave it to Ethan Stanley to Chad. So
I'll scroll back and look.
yeah, you're going to need
Yeah,
a fight for that halfway point.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be buried under 50 messages, if not more. But but before you break out the champagne and celebrate this victory, any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I mean, everybody at this Pros Garage, I had a lot of people in my ear, especially Ethan Burrell, your teammate up there, Giddy, being my team owner. He was riding me all week to make sure that I prep for this and keeping myself in a good headspace and more so just putting, like I said, putting in the time, because you really do have to put in time to be good here and be great. Our competition has definitely stepped up to a tremendous level, and you can't just show up anymore. You really do have to put in the work, and I love that. I love the competition. I love having to work hard, and when you succeed in moments like this, it definitely makes all that worth it. So everybody, like I said, everybody at the Pro Edge Garage, we had great speed tonight. Tate got a podium. Zeus was working his way up 20th to 12th. That's about as good as you can get on the road courses, especially starting deep in the field like that. So everybody at the Pro Edge Garage, everybody in Elite that makes this thing run as well as it does, Chad and everybody, all of our admin, they put in a lot of work to make this league run as well as it does and give us a great place to race. So huge shout out to them. Belly Up coming on board with us, Belly Up Sports. They've been a great addition to us as well with the new podcast on Thursday nights. Make sure you guys tune into that if you're watching, if you haven't already seen it. Like Gerald said, I did my Nürburgring lab, which was pretty interesting. But also they have some other great episodes out there on the podcast as well. Everybody at Worldwide Technology, they've given us the great support for the past few years. Blue Egg as well, they're right up there. And JD Designs, like I said, painted this beautiful car and all my cars for the past few years. John's been a great friend and a great person to have in the garage and work with, and he's helped me gain a lot of speed on the ovals too, and teaching me little things here and there. That's pretty much it. I think I actually got it all this time for once. Also, wait, I forgot to mention, you guys up in the booth really do appreciate what you're doing. The Cup broadcast especially is really, really cool to see how professional it is up here with Gerald and now Goody coming up here. I imagine it was just the one-off with it being being the road course, but still happy to have him up here. Really love watching these races back and looking forward to definitely watching this one back as well.
Yeah, you'll have to watch the show you put on. It was fun to watch, even we were laughing me several times tonight. But go celebrate that victory and have a good night.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.
You bet.
I thank you, Goody, for helping me out. We're not. I don't think we're gonna have Thursday night podcast. So we're gonna figure out if I get a voice by the weekend. So keep an eye out on the Simply Gaming whatever. I don't know. I'm lost.
He's done.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you everyone thank you everyone for tuning in tonight for the Pit Pass NASCAR 120. Thank you to David Huckleberry here doing the live stream here and see this amazing short track, and thank you, Goody, for tuning in and coming in and helping me out here. Stay tuned for next week as we go to, where's it at again? Is it there it is. It's
Long Beach
Slinger
or tomorrow or Slinger.
Oh no, April 7th.
Yeah, tomorrow's Long Beach for IndyCar.
No. Next week for the Cup Series.
Coke 600.
Is it the Coke 600? Oh, that's gonna be an interesting one. I think that's full distance.
I hope your voice is back by then.
Oh, I really hope my voice is back for the full distance race.
Yep.
If I have a voice, let's hope I have a voice. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us. Have yourself a wonderful night and stay happy, folks.
Mm-hmm.